Hey everyone, today we are going to be scratching a $20 cash word from the Massachusetts lottery. This is a huge ticket with a lot of ways to win, and it's very popular. And you're also going to get a very special story time from me about the time I lost over $9,000 in cash in a backpack. So sit back, relax, grab a drink and some popcorn, and enjoy this journey. So some of you may know this already, but many of you don't. I have been playing poker professionally for over 13 years. I also run 2 different businesses. I am a financial coach, and I'm also starting this YouTube channel. And as of last month, I'm also a full-time dad. So yes, I do have a full plate, but I love it. Now, when it comes to playing poker professionally, this is not a career that I can recommend to anyone at this point. And even back in the day, I wouldn't recommend it to 99.999% of the population. But I did do very, very well, and I still do quite well in the field of poker. So it is a long story of how it all started, but I will get into the college years. I was kind of when I was in college, I was sort of living this double life where I had friends. I did well in class. I was part of activities council, had a girlfriend, but I also played a lot of high stakes poker online on the side. Now, everyone knew I played poker for money and I was winning, but none of them knew how much I actually was winning. I never told them. I didn't want to be looked at differently. I didn't want there to be gossip. And I just wanted to be one of the guys, But the truth was, during college, I was making 5 figures a month playing poker, which back then, this was in 2007, that was a ton of money. It's still a ton of money for a college student, but it was an exceptional amount of money back then. And I was top 10 in the world at 3 different games of poker. I was one of the winningest players online, and all of this while being a full-time college student. Now, when I graduated from college in 2009, I had some good internships. I worked for Goldman Sachs one summer. I worked for the US government, but none of these, despite having a potentially good starting job, it was a recession in 2009. The job market was terrible, and it became very apparent to me that playing poker professionally and full-time was going to make a lot more money than any of these starting positions. Plus, it was what my passion was. I absolutely wanted to do that more than any other, menial job. So I told my parents that I was going to go to Vegas for the entire summer to play in the World Series of Poker in 2009. And I had some pretty tough parents. They were not happy about it at all, but they accepted it. I have to say they just barely accepted it, and it didn't really matter if they allowed it or not because I was a 22-year-old free man. So I was finally making a choice on my own, and I packed my bags and I went to Vegas for 6 weeks to play in in the World Series of Poker, which is a giant series of high stakes poker tournaments, which at the time ranged between $1,500 and $50,000. I didn't play in any of the super high stakes tournaments back then, but I did play in a lot of buy-ins that ranged from $2,500 to $5,000. Back then, I didn't know anyone, so I didn't know anyone at a super personal level. So I just came with my own cash, and these were, even though I was making a lot of money online as a college student, these were high stakes tournaments, and there is a lot of variance in tournaments. That's very important because you can be very, very good at poker, but when it comes to these tournaments where it only pays top 10% of the field, and there is luck in the game. Poker's a game of skill, but there is plenty of luck in every tournament. In the long run, if you are a very good poker player, you will win money. But in the short run and even the middle run, you can lose a lot of money. And I wasn't financially prepared for my first summer in Vegas. So the first 9 or 10 tournaments I played, I did not cash in, and I was down almost 30 grand, which was a lot of my bankroll at the time. And I got a bailout. I got a bailout on like the 10th tournament I played. I almost won the tournament, but I ended up getting 12th due to a series of unfortunate events. I had the chip lead with 17 left, and I cashed for 42,000, which saved my summer. But moving forward, I learned a lesson that I need to reduce my risk, and I need to have investors for these tournaments, or backers as some people call them. So as I networked and I built connections with other players, and they found out that I was who I was and how good I was at poker, I did get a large number of people interested in investing in me for future World Series of Poker tournaments. And so now, if you flash forward to 2013, I'm playing in my first event of that year. This is my 5th year at the World Series of Poker, and I now have some high stakes investors that have a significant percentage of what I would win in a poker tournament in exchange for buying a significant percentage of my tournament buying. I sold at a pretty high premium, but people were willing to pay that at the time. And so I was playing my first tournament in 2013, and one of the investors came up to me with a wad of cash and casino chips, and he wanted to prepay for the entire summer of tournaments. And he said, "Here you go." And while a lot of poker players back then carried a lot of cash on them, I was not one that did. I always had the minimum amount of cash on me. I did wire transfers for buy-ins. I was the worst person to rob in the poker room, because I was the one guy that didn't have much cash on them. So 9,000 was a lot, but I had to take it, because it's easier to just take it all now instead of bothering investors to keep paying me. Okay, you owe me 2,000 today. You owe me 1,500 tomorrow. So I took it all in a lump sum payment, and I put it in my backpack, which I never do. I never keep money in my backpack. But I kept a very strong mental note that I had over $9,000 in cash in my backpack. So I can't remember what happened at that tournament, if I made day 2 or not, but I did play in that tournament throughout the entire day. And at the end of the day, I met up with a bunch of friends who I hadn't seen for almost a year. And there was a nice big gathering at this bar at the Rio. The Rio Casino is where all of the poker tournaments were held. So it's not a very nice casino, but that is always where the World Series of Poker has been up until recently, because they're knocking down the Rio. But anyway, we had this big gathering at the Masquerade Bar, and it was probably around midnight. And yeah, I decided to go. I wasn't a big drinker, but I did have a few drinks to celebrate just the beginning of summer and seeing everyone. And I really am not a smoker at all or a drug person, but I did take a couple hits of my friend's vape pen that night. And that might have been the first time in my life that I was both a little, I don't know if I was drunk, but had a few drinks in me and I was buzzed at the same time. And it was great. I mean, I was a social butterfly. It was an awesome night. You spent a few hours at the bar, really caught up with a lot of good friends, had a great time. And then I went to my friend's place, who lived across the street from the Rio. It's like a 1 or 2 minute commute. And we had a little after party there with a few of us, and just honestly, just really caught up. This is one of my very good friends, also named Steven, and who I hadn't seen in a while. And yeah, had a really good night, just chilling, a little smoking and drinking, and nothing too crazy. But before you knew it, it was either 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm ready to leave, and I'm trying to find my backpack, and I can't find my backpack. And that's when I came to the realization all of the money that I received today was in that backpack. And so I start to slowly freak out. I'm looking all over my friend's apartment. The backpack's not there. I check my car. It surely must be in the car. It is not in the car. I double, triple, quadruple check. Where is this backpack? I had it the whole day. It's not in the car. It's not in my friend's apartment. Where else could it have been? Oh my God, did I leave it at the bar at the Rio several hours ago? I was slowly my heart was racing like crazy. I was slowly having a panic attack. This money was so important and so significant for the entire summer. And I am so financially responsible. I would never ever I am not a forgetful person, but because I wasn't sober, this was a one-time thing where I just stopped worrying about, the fact that I had a backpack full of money. So I left my friend's apartment at maybe 5 a.m. and it was a 1-minute drive. I raced over to the Rio. I parked in the convention center area. And if you know the Rio at all, the convention center is extremely far from the regular casino of the Rio. It's almost a mile. It's almost a mile to get from one to the other with going through a bunch of super long hallways. But I wasn't in the most logical state of mind. So I really just parked in the first place I thought would be easy parking, because it's not easy to park at the Rio. I parked there quickly. I got out of the car. Then I started going from the convention center back to the regular casino where the Masquerade bar was. And I'm telling you, I was sprinting the entire time through one super long hallway to another super long hallway to another super long hallway. I was out of breath pretty quickly, but I just couldn't stop sprinting. I wouldn't let myself. My body was aching. My body said, my body's gonna break down. I ran cross country for 4 years in high school. I was a runner. I have never sprinted this long in my life, but I just couldn't stop running as fast as I possibly humanly could, knowing that the 1 minute could be the difference between finding my backpack and not finding my backpack. I'm just hoping and praying that it was still somehow, some way at that bar. So I just ran, and I can't stress this enough. I just kept running forever, completely out of breath, like your whole entire body telling you to stop. And I just didn't stop until I got to that Masquerade bar, finally, completely out of breath. And I'm looking around, I'm trying to see if there's a backpack. And now it's 5 a.m, and I'm gonna tell you guys, the Rio is not a nice casino, and there's a lot of shady characters, especially at 4 or 5 in the morning. So the bar is still open, but it's just a bunch of sketchy people sitting and drinking around the bar. And I'm looking around, I don't see the backpack. I'm trying to think, man, where did I put this thing? And I look at the back table. That was where I first sat at the very beginning of the night, and I think I see a backpack strap. And I get to the table, and sure enough, my backpack is hanging on the back of that chair still at an unoccupied table. No one has taken the backpack yet. I grab it. I casually walk away from the bar. I don't want to make a scene because I still don't know if the money's still in there. If someone opened that backpack, they would have immediately seen this large sum of cash. And let's be honest, guys, this is Las Vegas. People don't have the best morals. It's finders keepers if someone opens that backpack and sees this money. There's no ID in the bag. There's nothing. So I get to an empty slot. I'm still completely out of breath. I'm tired out of my mind, and I'm still not completely sober. And I open that bag, and the cash and chips are still there. I couldn't believe it. I got so lucky. The biggest sense of relief in my stomach that I've ever felt. I just brought out this big sigh, and I started laughing. And took the backpack home and went to bed immediately. So yes, I lost this bag, but I did get very lucky, and I did find it. And I will never forget this story, guys. This kind of situation had never happened to me again. But I think the lesson of the story is, do not carry large sums of cash in a backpack at any circumstance. There's no reason to do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed story time. If you're more interested in stories like that while watching a puzzle, feel free to subscribe, leave a like. It's deeply appreciated. So getting back to the puzzle here, we got 3 letters left, and we have 1 word on each puzzle so far, but we need 2 to qualify for a win. Right now, we have the word dab here, and we have aura here. So we got 3 letters left. Let's see if we can get a winner here. That's a V, and yeah, that's not going to be a good consonant. I'm not even sure we're going to get a single one on either of these puzzles here. Not seeing it, so yeah, down to 2 letters here, guys. Come on. Okay, N is generally a strong consonant. That's a letter you'd want to call on Wheel of Fortune, although I don't see a single N on the first puzzle. One over here. One here. Yeah. A couple more over here. All right, it looks like we are down to our last letter, and it kind of looks like it's going to be feast or famine. And in those situations, it's generally famine. If we can get one of these vowels, oh, we'll be in really good shape for a win here. But, oh, an S would do it too for ask. What else? Yeah, I mean, an E, an O, an S. I'm trying to think if there's any other letters here that could give us a small win. Let's see what we got here. It's a Z. Oh, of course they give us a Z as the last letter here. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, but of course we will double check this. Last time I did a crossword, I missed a winner, so we'll have to be sure of that. But we have a second chance down here. There is a second chance. Game number 3. Find the silver ball, the silver symbol, and you win that prize. Could it be our lucky day down here? Emerald, not silver bar. Moon. Oyster. Got a ring. We got a crown. Could the last one be a silver bar? It is not. It looks like we have a losing ticket here. Let's just scratch the multiplier for fun. Why not? 2x multiplier. Well, I will have to double check on this one because it would be crazy if we missed another winner here. But thank you for listening to my story today, and I hope you guys have a good week, enjoy yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.